What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. This is the top 10 UFC sportsmanship moments.
You're a good guy. You're the champ. I love you. Thank you, bro.
In mixed martial arts, pay-per-views are driven by the rivalry of between two fighters. However, in many instances, rivals have a high-level respect for one another. So, in a world full of bad news, we've chosen to reverse the script and focus on some of the most heartful exchanges between these incredible athletes. Rated in no particular order, let's take a look at the top 10 UFC sportsmanship moments.
I'm gonna sell this t-shirt. All this money I'm gonna send Dustin Poirier. This is what I want, you know.
And before we begin, if you would like to see more MMA videos, please consider subscribing because it encourages massively to create more awesome videos like these. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Number 10. Daniel Cormier vs. Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson of Sweden, in his prime, was a warrior capable of pushing champions to their limits. Gustafsson came close to becoming the first man to beat the then light heavyweight champion Jon Jones at UFC 165. In October of 2015, the Muller came incredibly close to becoming a UFC champion once again, when he narrowly lost a split decision to Daniel Cormier at UFC 192. The war lasted 5 rounds, with both competitors giving it all in the ring. Cormier paid his adversary the greatest compliment in his post-fight interview, saying that Gustafsson made him a better fighter and a better man. Number 9. Conor McGregor vs. Donald Cerrone. Conor McGregor, the infamous Irishman, is without a doubt the biggest name in mixed martial arts. However, the Irishman has become a polarizing figure in recent years as a result of some outside-the-cage exploits. McGregor, on the other hand, has made a name for himself by trash-talking his critics. Donald "Cowboy" Cerrone, his UFC 246 opponent, was treated with nothing but respect by the former two-division champion. The two were remarkably cordial during the pre-fight press conference, and the mutual respect continued even after the fight just ended 40 seconds into it. McGregor had triumphed with a resounding victory. Following his victory, the infamous one dashed into the ring to comfort his defeated rival. McGregor then gave Cerrone's grandmother a huge hug, which has even more refined gesture. This was a refreshingly unexpected show of respect from someone notorious for his controversial conduct. Anderson Silva vs. Israel Adesanya. The Alistar bender Israel Adesanya is often compared to the legendary Anderson Silva due to his similar build, unorthodox punching, and the fact that they compete in the same weight class. Fans at UFC 234 has a first-hand look at the similarities. Silva, to be sure, had his moments, but in the end, his younger opponent did enough to win by unanimous decision. It will be a fight that will be marked as the passing of the middleweight torch in some way. Fans were pleased to see that after the battle, the two men embraced in the greatest show of respect. The gladiators bowed and knelt before each other. Not only it was a moving moment for MMA fans, but it also moved Israel Adesanya to tears. Number 7. Alistar Overeem vs. Walt Harris. Walt Harris had proven he was ready for a move up in competition after a string of knockout victories in 2019. He was supposed to go up against Alistar, the Demolition Man, at first. Sadly, his stepdaughter, Anaya Blanchard, went missing at the end of the same year, while training for what would be the biggest fight of his career. While the MMA community rallied behind Harris and his family, some of the sport's most influential personalities, including UFC President Dana White and former light heavyweight champion Jon Jones, each offered a reward of $25,000 to the family. But sadly, there was no happy ending to the tale. Police found the body of a child they assumed to be Anaya Blanchard on November 25, 2019. Tragically, her identity was discovered just 2 days later. They already have the suspect in custody, who is suspected of being responsible for her death and is facing a capital murder trial. Harris understandably postponed his December showdown with Overeem to spend time with his family. However, in May of 2020, the two heavyweights eventually met inside the ring, and Overeem prevailed in the second round of the fight. Rather than celebrating a hard-fought victory, Overeem knelt and hugged Harris, acknowledging his opponent's personal struggles. They would then embrace in the octagon's middle in what can only be characterized as a heartfelt moment. Number 6. Khabib Nurmagomedov vs. Dustin Poirier. Khabib Nurmagomedov was scheduled to defend his lightweight championship title against Dustin Poirier at UFC 242 after one of the tensest fights in MMA history with Conor McGregor. The fight was largely uneventful because both fighters clearly respected one another from the start, which was evident once their fight was over. The fight was admittedly a one-sided affair, but Nurmagomedov managed to defend his lightweight title with a rear naked choke in the third round. After the result was announced, the two fighters hugged and exchanged their walkout shirts in a display of sportsmanship. Khabib also revealed in his post-fight interview that he would auction off his shirt and donate the proceeds to Poirier's charity. Number 5. Michael Bisping vs. Anderson Silva. Following the previous two entries, it's safe to assume that Anderson Silva is a respected athlete among his peers. Former foe Michael Bisping is one of the many fighters who recognize despite his contribution to the sport. Although tensions were high before the fight, once the fight ended, all of the bad blood was put to the side in what would be his most important victory at that time. In front of a partisan London crowd, the Englishman won a hard-fought victory over Silva. Bisping bowed and welcomed the middleweight legend as a show of respect for Silva's Hall of Fame career. Michael Bisping finds his victory over Anderson Silva to be the most significant victory in his professional career. Number 4. Dustin Poirier vs. Max Holloway. Holloway and Poirier have long been regarded as two of the strongest fighters in the world of mixed martial arts. They are also two of the best class warriors you would ever see. The two gentlemen fought the interim for UFC Lightweight Championship at UFC 236. Holloway and Poirier had a lot of respect for each other before the fight, but after the 5-round fight, they had even more respect for each other. As one would predict, Poirier came out on the top of the judges' scorecards. The two champions exchanged braces before exchanging pleasantries and an even more classy move. Poirier took time backstage to console Holloway's son, who was clearly distressed by his father's setback results. Number 3. Machida vs. Mark Munoz. Even though fighters tend to stop it, there are moments when teammates and training partners meet in the octagon's middle. The main event of UFC Fight Night 30 was expected to be Mark Munoz vs. Michael Bisping. However, owing to an eye injury, Bisping was forced to withdraw from the competition, leaving a promotion in need of a big-name replacement. As a result, Mark Team's Machida reluctantly decided to fill the void. In the end, it took Machida just over 3 minutes to land a crushing head kick and secure the victory by finishing the battle. He bowed and rushed over to his fallen comrade to console him. The show of respect highlighted a type of bond that only professional fighters can fully comprehend between teammates. Number 2. Nick Diaz vs. Anderson Silva. Nick Diaz is a no-nonsense warrior who has never been afraid to express himself or share his thoughts. One of the many aspects that have been made him a cult favorite among MMA fans is his straightforward personality. Despite his bad boy reputation, the Stockton product has shown a softer side at UFC 183 on many occasions. After struggling to reclaim his middleweight title and sustaining a terrible injury, the California native was scheduled to face Anderson, the Spider. For the first time in over a year, the Brazilian will enter the ring. Even though the fight went on the distance, Silva was declared a winner by a unanimous decision. So, after recovering from a gruesome leg injury, the Spider was understandably upset when the battle was over. As Silva landed on the mat, he started to cry uncharacteristically. Nick Diaz, who was sympathetic, approached his rival, picking up from the floor and ordered him to stop crying. The two hugged it out after the fight, and although Silva's victory was eventually reversed due to a failed drug test, the post-fight exchange remains one of UFC's most unforgettable feel-good moments. Number 1. George St. Pierre vs. Michael Bisping. St. Pierre has the potential to be the greatest warrior in history. After a 4-year absence from the octagon, St. Pierre returned to fight middleweight champion Michael Bisping at UFC 217. As the third round was coming to an end, George choked out the Englishman. Rather than gloating or enjoying a remarkable victory, the new middleweight champion chose to hug his defeated opponent, and following that, the two shook hands and exchanged some soothing words. If you liked the video, please share, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to see more awesome videos like these. And see you next time.